Hello for everyone that's trickling in. Welcome to this week's Pick a Card TRL, otherwise known as Tarot Reading Live. If you are watching this on Instagram, welcome, and we're gonna get to the reading soon, but first I'm gonna do some general stuff. And if you are watching this later on YouTube and you already know what card you would like, it was in your image on my feed if you're on Instagram, or it was probably in the image for the video before you clicked on it whenever you were gonna watch. If you know what you're going to, you can skip ahead. There will be timestamps below if you're watching this on YouTube. But again, all of you watching this live on Instagram, welcome, and I'm gonna let you start to trickle in. And before we get to the card selection, we have the 3 piles designated by 3 different crystals, and they will be infused with whatever energy of the people that have selected them. So that we're gonna have the 3 card readings for those piles, but we're gonna do a little bit of an energy reading as everyone's coming in. Oh, and a card is just falling out of the deck. So apparently there's a card that we all need right now in this moment that is now on my floor. So give me one moment while I pick that up. So before I even flip over this card, we're gonna talk about the energy that's happening right now. So based on the Reiki that I send out on Sunday mornings, I can kind of feel into the people that I'm sending it to and get a general idea of what the masses at large are experiencing. And today's recap was all about being okay with letting things go. And not just letting physical items go, but also applying that sort of Marie Kondo, bless it and release it, thank it and let it go mindset to relationships, to places, to plans that you had for yourself that you might have to let go because they're not going to go through now. And it's kind of the energy of the week is kind of just like, okay, like not only being okay with releasing things, but also recognizing the worth of just having them in your life to begin with. Like even if you planned a trip that you never got to go on, the experience of planning that trip is part of your growth, part of your experience. So you still want to bless it and release it and know that it will come back around if it's meant to, and if not, you'll be more than welcome to be able to just move forward. And there's something about that whole bless it and release it mindset that makes it so much easier to let things go, because we have this sort of like feeling like we're betraying something or someone whenever we like release them from our lives. And in actuality, like our only purpose, our only intention here on this planet is to be able to evolve and continue to grow. So if someone's no longer needed in your life, or if something is no longer needed in your life, that doesn't mean that it didn't serve a purpose while it was there. So really honoring the purpose of these items, these plans, these ideas, these people, and then just letting them be released out into the world. And again, we have that other cliche of like, if you let it go and it comes back to you, that's all also possible as well. But the energy of surrender is really what we're going for in letting things go this week. So to help with that, I was gonna shuffle the Bad Bitch Affirmations deck, but when I opened the deck, the top card fell out. So whatever the last shuffle I did was, apparently this card was already ready for us. So we're gonna see what the affirmation is just to help with the collective. And it's so beautiful for letting things go. It's you are so fucking enough. So Bad Bitch Affirmations, there's obviously gonna be some not suitable for work language, but that's what I love about it. So you are so fucking enough, and it doesn't matter what you're releasing from your life, you still have everything you need within you this week. So we have those cards out of the way, the energy recap out of the way. Still got people trickling in, but I'm gonna dive into the piles for the readings. So if you did not see the post on my feed, I posted a photo of 3 card piles. No worries, stay here. You don't have to go over to my feed. Each of the card piles has a crystal that is connected to it. So we're gonna go through the crystal choices right now. And if you haven't already selected a pile, you can pick the energy from the crystal as to which pile is for you. So if you have already selected it, I still have these in the same order, left, middle, right. I still have the same crystals on the same piles. So just keep in mind whatever your selection was. But if you haven't selected your card pile yet, we're gonna do pile number 1. Has this little crystal, little tiger's eye type crystal. It's a little tan, a little brown. So if you feel the energy of this crystal is calling out to you, pile number 1 might be for you. Let me turn down. There we go. Now we can see the crystal a little bit better. Okay, if you are feeling into pile number 2, this little pyrite fool's gold might be calling out to you. So pile number 2. If you're feeling into the energy of pile number 3, this little orange baby, a little orange calcite, is probably going to feel really good to you. So again, we have pile number 1, little tiger's eye. Pile number 2, fool's gold. Pile number 3, orange calcite. So pile number 1 is tiger's eye. Pile number 2, fool's gold. Pile number 3, orange calcite. Whichever one of those is calling out to you, just kind of keep that in your mind. And if you are watching this in a later replay on YouTube, again, you can skip to your pile based on the timestamps below. But if you're watching this live, we're all gonna go through these together. And I also trust that if you're watching this live and you're hearing card piles that aren't your own, there's still gonna be some information there for you. It may not resonate fully, but it's gonna be something, there's gonna be little pieces that you can pick out from those readings as well. So, pile number 1, which again is that tiger's eye. We're going to start with an energy and advice from the Wild Unknown Tarot, which is going to give us a little bit of an idea of what your week ahead, what your Halloween and your full moon energy is going to be like this week, and kind of what you're working through. And then we're also going to do a little 1 card from my Total Betty Goddess deck. So we'll do that one last to kind of give you the sort of energy and support that you need for this reading. So pile number 1, which again is that tiger's eye, your energy and advice cards. We have the Father of Pentacles for the energy. And we have the Mother of Pentacles reversed for the advice. So what does this mean? First of all, pile number 1, you have 2 Pentacles cards. So your week ahead is very much about career, home, and stability. The Pentacles are the earth energy, really grounded, rooted, really wanting to feel secure. So that also makes sense because tiger's eye is a very protective and grounded stone. So you want protection around your home space, you want protection around your career, around your money. And these cards are basically coming in to say like, hey, it's a good energy for that. It's a good energy to stay close to home, which I think most of us probably are at this time period in history for our Halloween celebrations. But if you were questioning whether you should go out and about or if you should stay close to home, this is kind of calling out to like stay close to home this week. And there's gonna be a lot of abundance and wisdom that's held there for you. So the energy with the Father of Pentacles means that you are really coming into a position in your career and in your home life, but particularly in regards to money, where you're taking ownership over your authority. So this is a really good week to make sure that you're really organized with your finances. If you have to do any sort of, like, I don't know. The thing that's coming to my mind is I need to do some QuickBooks stuff for my business. But like if you need to do any sort of like paperwork or bookkeeping for your business or for your finances this week, it's a really good week for that. You really want to make sure that with the Father of Pentacles, the energy is really knowing the whole big picture. So rather than getting focused on, oh, I have this one bill that I have to pay, or I have this one source of income that's coming in, how can you kind of zoom out and see everything that's coming in for you and everything that you want to do and kind of get a bigger idea? Full moon coming up on Halloween is going to be a really good time for calling in manifestations that might have started 6 months ago on the new moon. So I encourage you to look back to 6 months ago, whenever the Taurus new moon occurred. So you can Google that real quick. I don't know the exact date, but sometime 6 months ago that occurred. And at that time you were putting certain wishes out into the world. And I think that they're probably going to revolve a lot around money and home. And it's a good time to look back on that and remember what it was that you were searching for then, and try and make sure that those wishes, those manifestations are coming into fruition. So it's a nice little check-in to be like, did I forget about something that I really wanted? Did I forget that I really wanted to paint a wall in my home? Did I forget that I really wanted to invest some money in a charity or a business that I really valued? Or did I forget that I had this really great money-making project that I kind of like put to the side because stress of life got in the way? This is saying, hey, You're now much more grounded than you were back then. This week in particular is going to have you around your home and feeling very grounded and feeling very ready to sort of bring these projects to fruition. And that's the energy that you're diving into, along with the Mother of Pentacles. So the Mother of Pentacles reversed, I like to read as a very internal energy. So Mother of Pentacles is a very caring, very nurturing card. It's the most mothery card of the deck, in my opinion. And so Mother of Pentacles is usually about nurturing those around you, nurturing your family, your friends, your children, your pets, what have you. But when it's reversed, I see that as a need to nurture inward. So it's a really good week for self-care. It's a really good week to turn that energy inward and make sure that you're prepared for what's coming. So blanket statement for everyone. Hi, Gabby. We just did a bad bitch affirmation. Sorry, pause everyone. Gabrielle Rosie is the creator of the Bad Bitch Affirmation deck. So for that general reading that we had, you are so fucking enough for the general collective, that's from her card deck. So you can click over to her if you want to know more about those. So card number 1, we have our Father of Pentacles. Get grounded. Know the big picture. Know what it is that you are trying to sort out in your finances so that you can get really clear about where you're going. Advice, Mother of Pentacles. Really turn that nurturing inward, and really make sure that you are being in self-care. Because another general reading that's happening, I got distracted. The general energy that's happening right now, there's a lot of stuff coming through in all kinds of cards right now, whether I'm doing it for clients, for myself, for these live readings, that things are gonna start moving. Like, I know we're all used to things going so slow. We have so many planets that have been retrograde. We have, a global pandemic. We have everything on stall, everything on pause. And when things start moving, they're gonna move much faster than we think they are. And that doesn't necessarily mean on like a pandemic level, but on, and it could be that too. It could be that like things start sorting themselves out very quickly, but more on our personal goal level. Like when we're like, I really wanted this thing to happen with my business and it's just not happening. Or I really wanted this relationship to come through and like something's just standing in the way. When things start moving, it's gonna be like off to the races. So whatever it is that you feel like is stalled, this is your time to take care of yourself so that when we're off to the races, you are ready. You are nourished, you are rested, you have your routine in place. Ooh, Pentacles energy is very good for routine as well. So if you're this first pile, it's a good week to not only know the big picture of your finances, but know the big picture of your general overall well-being. Do you need to start having a morning meditation ritual? Do you need to start exercising on a daily basis? Do you need to switch out your coffee for some hot water and lemon in the morning and start making that a part of your routine? So really look at those routines, those rituals, and things around your finances and your home that can make you feel really secure, really stable, really nourished, so that whenever we are off to the races in like 2, 3, 4 months, you're ready. You're not feeling like scattered and stressed and like you don't know where you are keeping your real clothes these days. So like really get organized in those areas. And the total Betty goddess card that we have coming through with this is Freya, played by Sarah Jessica Parker as Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City. So if you're not familiar, these cards are always the 90s cards, 90s figures. So she is coming in to really remind us to spread the love around. And this includes being unapologetically selfish in your need for love. So this is a very good card for that self-love energy because Freya is very much that free, like Sex in the City, like dating around, like not really letting people basically slut shame you or judge you for having little interest here, little interest there. And that could be romantically or it could be monetarily, passion-wise, it could be all the different categories. So Freya's coming in for this pile and saying, hey, don't apologize for anyone for turning that energy inward because you've been putting it in a lot of different areas. It's time for you to find that self-love. And then also when it's time to turn it back out in the world, when things start moving again, don't feel like you need to channel all your passion and all your energy into one thing. I think all of this homey organizing that's happening this week is really gonna help you to have the stability and the clarity of the projects that you are working on, so that if you're bopping from this to that to that to that, whenever things start moving, you still know the big picture. You still like had the plan all laid out, so you don't feel like you're losing track of what it is that you were gonna be working on. So if you were pile number 1, that tiger's eye is there protecting you. Those cards are there to assist you. If you picked pile number 2, which is the pile with the pyrite fool's gold, we're gonna dive into your cards now. So pile number 2, your energy card is the Wheel of Fortune, and your advice card is the Mother of Cups. So energy of your week ahead, going into this thinning of the veil, this mystical, magical time that's coming with the full moon and Halloween. The Wheel of Fortune, and this one is reversed, so we're turning the energy slightly inward. But the Wheel of Fortune is one of my favorite cards in the deck because it's just so true. It's not because it's like this amazing, like everything's gonna be amazing in your life. It's just life. Wheel of Fortune means that you always have to take the good with the bad. Because if you want to picture life like a wheel constantly rolling forward, you are on an upswing when you're having a really good, beautiful time. But you can't stay up there or the wheel doesn't move forward. So there's inevitably going to be a downswing, and maybe it's not about the same topic. Like, we're always doing that ebb and flow. And that also feels, I think because the energy is turning inward with it reversed, this message is really about allowing your energy to ebb and flow. And to know that you're gonna have times that you're really productive and you really wanna be out there in the world, and then you're gonna have times where you really need to turn inward and you really need to not do anything. And that's what pile number 2, I'm gonna guess that your quarantine has really taught you that, or your pandemic timeline. This 2020 expansion that we've been on has really taught you to try and be less ashamed of the times that you need downtime. And to recognize that just because you have time periods where you don't want to be productive at all, doesn't mean that's going to be how it's going to be forever. This is very much a card of accepting where you are in the cycle. And actually, if you guys are watching this and you want to go over to Gabrielle Rosie's page, she talks very much a lot about that concept of being able to nurture and then move outward. And we're always moving in those cycles. So for card number 2 people, those pyrite people, this Wheel of Fortune energy going inward is really telling you to accept it, to don't beat yourself up if you need downtime, to not beat yourself up if you're going really hardcore in a direction that feels right to you. Listen to your body. Listen to your cycles of your body too. If you're a female energy or if you are a cis female born with female reproductive organs, this pile number 2 is also about pay attention to the cycles of your menstrual cycle, and know that whenever you are in your premenstrual period and your menstrual period, you might feel less productive. And when you're in your pre-ovulation and your ovulation period, that's when the energy starts to move outward. I just had a cat just barely make it over to the chair that's been moved. So for those of you that heard that noise, that's what that was. So card number 2, people, as you find this balance between your ebb and flow, the advice card is to really listen to your intuition. So the Mother of Cups is telling you that this is all you. You can't ask anyone else when you're supposed to be productive or when you're supposed to rest. This is all about learning to listen to your body, learning to listen to your intuition, and again, tuning out the outside world's noise. I feel like card number 2 piles are gonna have a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm feeling guilty that I'm not productive, or I'm feeling guilty that I am productive and I'm not doing the fun downtime stuff. So this pile is really about letting go of that guilt. Don't let the rest of the world or expectations of others make you feel guilty. One, because you're probably projecting things that aren't even there, but also because you know what's best for your body. And this is a really good pile to start meditating, especially with the week ahead, with the full moon and Halloween. It's a really good energy to tap into sort of like the spiritual realm and the messages that are kind of coming in from your higher self. So yeah, this pile is very much about letting that ebb and flow occur, but also like knowing when the ebb and flow is occurring. So educate yourself about the rhythms of your body and the way that you can listen and tune into those things. So for card number 2, my Pyrite people, we have a Total Betty card for you. And it is Bastet. So Bastet is the Egyptian cat goddess, so it's so fitting that I have a cat that just won't leave me alone. And she is about prioritizing pleasure. So she's a very protective goddess, but she's also unapologetic about her pleasure, kind of similar to our first goddess card. So we have the Sarah Jessica Parker, Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City Freya, who is about not apologizing for spreading the love around. And then we have Bastet coming in saying, your pleasure is your priority this week. It's about really not only allowing for that ebb and flow of energy, but when you are in either of those, whether you're in productive mode or you're in luxuriating and doing nothing mode, how can you like really relish that? I'm getting sort of like, mindset of Tantra. So if you're unfamiliar, that Tantra is more than just a sexual practice. Tantra is a lifestyle that you move inward and you really allow pleasure to lead your life. So whatever you're doing, you find the pleasure. If you're eating a berry, you take a moment to really recognize the juiciness of the berry and the way it feels on your tongue and the way it feels on your lips, and you really engage in all of your senses. So I encourage you, pile number 2 people, to do that not only when you are like, oh, I'm luxuriating and I'm just gonna take a bath and enjoy the warmth, and that's a really great time to luxuriate. But we also forget to do that whenever we're like, oh yeah, I've got so much inspiration to work on this project and I'm really gonna like embellish and really soak up this inspired and moving forward energy as well. So notice when that's happening and relish in that as well. So if you picked card pile number 3, which was to the right of the screen, has this little orange calcite, we're gonna do your pile next. So pile number 3, we have the energy and advice from the Wild Unknown. The energy card coming in with the 2 of Cups. So this is the lesser version of the Lover's card. This is the more earthly version of the Lover's card. So the 2 of Cups is a union, a uniting of you and another soul that's really gonna help you to feel more connected on this plane. It's about really letting yourself tap into the ways that other people help you to feel more balanced. As a recovering codependent, I'm always very weary of the idea of like the you complete me, like the type of mindset. But this is really just finding appreciation for that other half, whatever that is for you right now. So right now, my other half is my cat Zoe, because that's the other half that's in my life the most often. And I can look to her and I can say, oh, you remind me to be grounded. You remind me to slow down. So whatever your version of another half is right now, this card is coming in and saying, like, recognize the way that their energy balances yours. And sometimes this 2 of Cups energy, and the Lover's card for that matter, can be a non-physical other half. It's whatever is lighting up your passion right now is this energy. And lighting it up in a way that feels cozy and feels safe and feels nourishing. And this is a card that's saying, hey, what do you really love right now? And how can you really recognize the balance that love is creating in your life? The way that the best way to put it is, if you are in a love relationship, recognize how even the things that annoy you about your partner are actually balancing for you. Like they're either showing you something that you need to heal or work on, or they are showing you something that you secretly desire in yourself, and that's why you find it annoying. Try to soften your perspective on any judgments around that, whatever version of your other half is. Like, how can you be like, oh, it's really annoying that you don't pick your clothes up off the floor. But also, it shows me that sometimes I can live in the moment and I don't have to worry about picking clothes up off the floor if there's something more enlivening and interesting to look at outside the window. Like, whatever it is that you're looking at, how can you flip the perspective and see what you can learn, what you can take on from these energies? The advice card that comes with this is the Strength card reversed, which again is turning energy inward. And I think in this particular reading, it's saying, again, that softening of the perspective outward because you recognize that you don't need anything from anyone else. So the inner strength card would be just letting your other half, whatever it is, whether it's a hobby, whether it's an animal, whether it's a person, letting them off the hook because you can take care of your own stuff and it shouldn't matter what they do. There's a really great interview, I think it's Goldie Hawn on Oprah, and from like the 1980s or 1990s, and she talks about her relationship with Kurt Russell, and that's coming through right now because she says like he's apparently got like very different political views than her or whatever, and she's like, why would that matter? Like, as long as I know who I am and he knows who he is and we know who we are together and we like being together, why do I need to change the things about him that I don't agree with? Like, that's not me, so I don't need to change that. I just need to be who I am and then just join in love. So that's this inner strength card. It's like, hey, I know who I am, and like, you do whatever you want. You be who you are, and even if it annoys me, maybe there's something there that I need to learn. But yeah, this is a card of and again, like, we can apply this to hobbies and passions as well. So if you're like, oh, I'm isolating, I'm single, I don't have another half in my life, this is very much like, hey, I'm gonna recognize that this thing that might be doing this dance with me, this give and take, this ebb and flow, this sort of cat and mouse chase is it still has its benefits and it's still teaching me something. So the other card that's coming in, our total Betty for this final pile. I'm not even going to try and say this goddess name. It's a Greek goddess of storytelling played by Clarissa Darling from Clarissa Explains It All. So this is also a card that is telling us to make memories, to remember what's happening in this moment. So this is kind of saying, this is a beautiful little like, these cards there's a beautiful relationship happening with something. And as long as you can stay connected to your inner strength, your own stability, you're going to make some really great memories this week. So focus on that. And the more that you can really find that relishing in the moment, savoring what's going on, the more that those memories will feel really enlivened and really vibrant. So think of this week as your mental scrapbook, and that's a really good way to go into it, because if you're making a scrapbook, if you're putting your photos and your mementos in the scrap, you're not putting stuff that felt icky. So if every moment this week was going into your scrapbook, how would you make it scrapbook worthy? How would you frame it in your mind so that even the annoying stuff is worthy of putting in that scrapbook and remembering forever and cherishing? Nice. Yeah. So yeah, feeling this way hardcore about my photo work right now. So like Ashley's saying that this is about a passion. It's about like letting it be what it is and letting it teach you things, from no matter how it can be frustrating sometimes, especially if you're doing digital editing or anything like that right now with Mercury in retrograde. That's another great thing. Mercury's in retrograde, guys. So if you're doing anything with technology in regards to your passion, or if you're trying to communicate with your loved one, that gets a little icky and it's going to get a little frustrating. But how can you be like, well, it's just how it is, and I know who I am, and I know what I'm doing, and I know where I'm going, whether it's I'm going with this project or where I'm going with this relationship, and whatever it is that this person's giving me, I can accept it in the moment, and I can make it into something that's memorable. I hope that these readings served you well, and if you are watching this on Instagram, or if you're watching this later on YouTube, I do accept donations to help support these readings every week. I really, really appreciate the ones that have been coming in from previous readings. If you want, you can Venmo me at Michelle Shea. I just recently learned that you might even need like a last 4 digits of a phone number to be able to Venmo someone that you haven't Venmo before. So if that's the case, check my Instagram at Michelle Shea profile. It has the last 4 digits. And if you don't want to do monetary support, it's just as equally valuable to me for you to do word of mouth support. So if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification button, maybe even share the video with a friend. If you're watching this on Instagram, follow me, maybe post something in your stories or on your feed about how you enjoy these readings. And that's completely valuable and supports me as well. So thank you everyone for being here. If you like the decks, again, we had the Bad Batch affirmations for our general reading. We have the Wild Unknown Tarot for the energy advice cards. And then we have my very own Total Betty Goddess deck, which is all 90s goddesses, for sale on my website, which is also linked in my Instagram bio. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Enjoy that beautiful full moon energy and have a happy All Hallows Eve.